B-boy. From the old to the new, still a B-boy. Too bold for the school, still a B-boy. East Coast to the West, B-boys worldwide. We supposed to be blessed, still a B-boy.
This week, we're heading to the South Bronx to talk about one of hip-hop's greatest groups, from a classic debut to schooling listeners for 5 albums straight. The BDP crew were the definition of hip-hop in the late 80s into early 90s. Krs-One, Scott LaRock, D-Nice were part of the soundtrack for the lives of hip-hop heads in the golden era. So this week, top 10 Boogie Down Productions songs. Just BDP albums, Krs-One solo, we already did. We're just talking about the 5 BDP records. Oh, 6 if you count that live one, which I don't think anyone will have, but you never know. Joining me, as always, Raven Hunter is in the house. Ben Newman's in the house. And joining us for the very first time, Roderick Mentus. All right, as always, I will start us out. My number 10, I'm taking it to that classic debut, 87's Criminal Minded. And I'm going with the song South Bronx. This song to me is just a definition of a classic. You know, it's part MC Sean diss, but it's also kind of an education of the beginnings of hip hop because he talks about, you know, Cool Herc and all those people who really started. And that's what caught me as a kid because in 87, I didn't know Cold Crush Brothers and Cool Herc because I was in Wisconsin, right? So he was teaching me, who later became the teacher, about early hip hop, and I always liked that element more than it being a diss song, which is funny because everyone else looked at it as a straight diss. But you know, KRS, along with people like Chuck D and Ice-T, were like literally my teachers. I probably learned more from them than I did most of my teachers, and that's not even exaggerating. Simple but classic beat by Scott LaRock, rest in peace. Had to start with a classic, South Bronx. Damn, I'm singing it in my head. Number 10 for you, Roderick.
Yes, my number 10. The J, the I, the M, the M, the Y, the J, the I, the M is
It's
Jimmy.
Hold up.
So this song for me is one of Chris's and BDP's funner side. I wasn't listening to them for anything fun, but this was a song that the hook, it just stuck with me. It stuck with everybody when it came out. You know, it was about sex. It was before I had sex, so I wasn't really into the song. It's about, you know, safe sex. But anytime I hear the word Jimmy for many, many years, this song would just pop up in my head. So it's a very catchy song. It's the lighter side of BDP. So I have it at number 10.
Very, very catchy. Now I'm singing that in my head. And that was the first honorable mention crossed off. That probably maybe would have hit my top 15. Raven, number 10.
Number 10. I started with what is my favorite album from them, Edutainment, 1990. And I started with the song Original Lyrics. And it's got some little backups and a Special K in there. It's speaking of the fun and light side, it's a fun track. And just that the opening hook always made me laugh, sending it out to George Bush and shit. And it was just a really fun, good vibe, and it had a great flow from Chris. Yeah, Original Lyrics.
And we'll talk more about that album, but what's the perfect album title for KRS-One BDP? That Edutainment was
Edutainment.
I mean, you don't get a better album title for him. Ben, number 10.
First off, going back, visiting all this shit, I forgot how much I love Boogie Down Productions beats. But this song, the beat's trash, but I'm going with Beef from Edutainment.
Oh.
But what got it for me was the live. I got the live VHS when I was younger, so they kind of broke it down into like an acapella. It's not a lyrical masterpiece or nothing, but I've never heard people talk about like that shit before.
Right.
Like what, you know, what's going in your meat and stuff. So I just thought it was a really, really cool concept for that time. So and that always stuck out with me. But so I went with Beef, Edutainment.
Did it make you stop eating beef in 1990?
Fuck no. Prime rib all day.
All right, we are to number 9. I'm heading to that album you were just on, 1990s Edutainment, but I'm going with the Kenny Parker Show. Now, this to me is hip hop, just the bare bones, straight, every element of hip hop. And this song gets me super hype. And it starts like you're at a live BDP show, and then it just keeps transforming into like a regular sounding song, and then KRS rocks it, and then you hear the crowd go go go. It's like they mesh a live feeling with a studio track, and then the crowd fades out, and Chris just destroys it, and you got the dope scratching. It's just hip hop all balled up into one song. Man, Kenny Parker scratching the hell out of it. Kenny Parker Show, real hip hop, in my opinion. Roderick, what's your number 9?
Okay, my number 9 is I'm Still Number One from the album All Means Necessary. So now we're going to get into the beats, man. So I like the beat. You know, I like the way he's bragging and you know, his lyrical ability on the track. You know, he even brags about, you know, hip hop's only 20 years, not even 20 years, he said on the track. And he's like, you know, by the time it's 50 years, I'm still going to bust a rhyme. You know what I mean? I'm still going to be doing my thing. So, which is interesting because it's, you know, hip hop turned 50 in 2023, and he just recently did some stuff. So, you know, through the test of time, he's still like he keeps it consistent, you know, and it's hard to believe he's been around that long. But my number 9 is I'm Still Number One.
Number 9 for you, Raven.
I went to 92's Sex and Violence, and I went with We In There. We In There.
Right.
Just it's a hard ass beat. It has such a dope like party vibe with that hook. A beautiful flow from Chris. Yeah, there's some dated and problematic language throughout this song, but it was a product of its time. And it still just has that hard ass vibe to it. I love that shit.
It's some MC-ish for sure. Ben, number 9.
This is where my 9mm go bang. Criminal Minded, 9mm. Speaking of the samples, that's where in Midnight, IC took this is where my 9mm go bang. So that always stuck with me. And like I said, the beats, and I love Krs-One's like reggae kind of play too on shit. So yeah, just a dope ass song from Criminal Minded.
And he was one of the first MCs that I remember hearing bringing in that reggae vibe. Because, you know, 87, 88, I wasn't hearing that with anyone else. I mean, it came shortly after that with other artists, but
Norn afterwards.
Right. Number 8. I'm just skipping from album to album. So we'll go to 1989, Ghetto Music Blueprint of Hip Hop. And I'm going with, it was a big single off of it. You Must Learn. You know, when he says, what do you mean when you say I'm rebellious? Because I don't accept everything that you're telling us. He's just always teaching you. And I was just all ears in this era of KRS-One schooling me. I was just hanging on to his every word and letting him school me. But even from the music standpoint, the scratching on here is dope. The beat is simple, but it works. The hook is simple, but effective, which I say all the time on this show. Doesn't have to always be complex, but it's the lyrics. I actually remember as a kid looking up these people he was talking to, like who invented the black man who invented the traffic light and all these people he's talking about. I went to the school library and we're looking up these people because my school was not teaching me about them. And it's funny to look back now, all these years later, and be like, I can't believe I did that. Like I felt like I had to go do that, but it hit me so hard. And that's why here, all these years later, the only thing I really know a lot about is hip hop. But Roderick, number 8.
Number 8, Poetry from the album Criminal Minded, 1987. Brah! The beat makes you like, see my face? I don't know if you guys can see my face. It just makes you want to do that, man. It's just like you're eating a sour patch or something. You're just, So I like the beat. I like how they sampled the Get Down sample. Get down. And they're screaming,
James Brown, yeah.
I like that about it. He's bragging about, you know, I like bragging on the track. Something about bragging on the track. I'm the teacher. I'm teaching you a lesson. Class is in session. You know, it talks about the poetry. It's left up to your imagination. And, you know, just simple things that I liked in the song. You know, don't challenge him because, you know, he's the arrow. Scott LaRock's the bow. Poetically putting it together, coming at you. So I like the coming at you. That's what I listen to hip hop for. Coming at you, whether it's the beat, whether it's coming at an MC, whether it's coming at the world.
Criminal Minded, you know, those Scott LaRock beats, although you could say they're kind of basic, maybe a product of that time. But to me, they still hold up with that kind of like you said, just that Scott LaRock production that unfortunately,
Because that's what boom bap is. It's that 808 drum.
right,
You know what I mean? So
right.
that's what makes it hip hop and boom bap, you know? So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, wish we could have got more Scott LaRock production. We are still on 8 and we're on Raven.
I would agree. Pure hip hop. I went back to edutainment with the Kenny Parker show.
Nice.
It's from the live feel opening with the reverbed vocals to have that live studio mix. It's just such a killer flow. It's a great beat, and Chris just kind of murders it at the end. He just kind of builds and builds and goes
Right.
off like such a dope song, and it's hard to find a standout on that album. I love that album so much, but that song always, from the first time I heard it, stuck out with me.
It is. It's so dope how they mix that. Ben, what is number 8 on your list and in your heart?
Going to Blueprint with bo bo clack 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 clack.
Someone else loves that song. That's a shit.
Yeah, and then I don't know, just the beat length, the flow, the you know with with the the reggae, a little bit of how his delivery is, and then the poor cop catching the bottle to the fucking Adam's apple. Like, I don't know, just a good song. And I actually, that's when you brought up the live record, that was my favorite song on the live record was that. But yep. So going with that from Blueprint.
And that was always kind of, at least in my universe, more not hidden, but people didn't necessarily talk about that song. And I was always like, you got to listen to Bo Bo Bo. It's the greatest storytelling. And you're right. The part I always loved was the bottle of Snapple to his fucking Adam's apple. Perfect. All right. We are to 7. And you brought it up before, Raven. 92, Sex and Violence. We in there. And this reminds me of what Return of the Boom Bap, his first solo listed album, and beyond. Like, this is the step between what BDP sounded like and what KRS-One, the solo artist, would become. So when I hear We In There, it reminds me of Return of the Boom Bap to KRS-One solo more than it reminds me of BDP. So to me, it's interesting how you're seeing that bridge and the evolution like right in front of you. There was a remix too that was really dope. They're both great. Remix was by Ali Shaheed Muhammad of Tribe Called Quest. And you just start seeing the battle MC KRS-One. He had always been lyrical and he always would teach and he could tell amazing stories. But this is the era where KRS-One starts being like the freestyle, battle anybody, crush them type MC. And this was really the first time you heard that from him. So We In There, Sex and Violence. That was my number 7. Roderick, you're up.
Very good choice. That is also my number 7.
Nice.
We In There remix. This is where videos start for me. You know, we talked about you guys, you know, knowing albums. I'm a video guy, man. I like to see visual things, man. So this video with KRS-One, BDP in the streets, you know, talking about the biters, the copycat, you know, people stealing BDP style. And he says stuff like, you know, he says, you know, I'd be wrong if I punched you in the face. That's not positive, right? So that gritty, get the message across. We are who we are. You're biting us. We're coming at any fakers. The message I got from that is just be yourself and you'll be okay. So I really like that score. I like the chant. BDP is very good at chant. South Bronx to South Bronx. Everything's a chant. So anything with a chant, I think they caught on to that, and that works. The BDP crew. But that's my number 7. I agree with you guys. Let's get it.
It's simple but effective hooks are the ones that stick in your head. Raven, you're number 7.
I went back to 92, Sex and Violence, and I went with Build and Destroy. I love the like message that he has in that song. You know what I mean? Like KRS-One's always about educating people and shit. And that's what always drew me into him. That's why, yeah, like these days I really pay a lot of attention to beats. If I don't hear a catchy beat, I probably ain't gonna pay much attention to the song at 43. But when I was younger, you had to pull me in with your words. And he always had these just really strong messages interwoven with really dope beats. So Build and Destroy always was one of those tracks that really stuck out to me and my brother.
All this love for Sex and Violence, even though it was kind of his bridge project, is probably my least favorite BDP album, if I'm ranking them. We still haven't brought up the super problematic song. Will it come up? I guess we'll have to wait and see. Ben, what's your number 7?
7 going with Blueprint with Jack of Spades, which I believe was a single, and I think there was a video as well.
Yes.
Not a whole lot to say, just a solid ass song. One thing I want to say about KRS-One is there's something about him. I don't know if it's the way he carries himself or what it is, but he's damn near the greatest MC like of all time. Like it's weird because like, did you see the versus shit with him and Big Daddy Kane? It was just
No, I didn't see that.
it was just
It
mind blowing.
sounds
Like
dope, yeah.
it's the way he carries himself is just like he lives fucking hip hop. There's something about KRS-One where like he's not even in my top 5, but like like I'll see him perform and it's just like, dude, you're the greatest motherfucker of all time. It's just there's something about the way he carries himself.
He's a definition of an MC, and
Yes.
I've seen him live twice, and on one of them, he was shouting out to the crowd to say anything, and he would freestyle about it. So, people were, just random shit, like a yellow cab, and he would start freestyling about a cab, and people would just shout out words and shit. Just amazing, and he would just keep going, keep going. So, yeah, he's one of the best, no doubt about it. So we are to 6 already, and I'm going back to the 87's Criminal Minded. If you would have asked younger Chris, this would have been higher, but it slid. And that's word from our sponsor. Now we're talking about beats. This beat did always get me. That wah, 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 wah. Even though it's kind of simple, it always hooked me in. Like it seemed like it was a bridge or a bumper between a commercial and a TV show, and it had that vibe. And starts with this is a test from BDP prevention against sucker MCs, and it's just so unique. KRS-One is on some MC-ish on this song. Scott LaRock on the beat, just scratching this song. It's little but done perfectly. Those little drops, little scratches, and just that hook and breakdown. The that wasn't done very well. So word from our sponsors. Number 6 for me. Roderick, you're up.
Before I get into number 6, Ben, I'm a big KRS-One fan too, but he lost against Big Daddy Kane in that versus.
You think?
I got to go back and watch it.
Yeah, he lost. I mean, Big Daddy Kane came with it. I think Big Daddy Kane was working out and getting ready for this thing because
Chris, what was awesome was how they were like united for it. They wasn't like like it was about hip hop, and they didn't really care who won on in a way. I mean, they were competitive, but it was
Kane did go hard.
There was a lot of love there.
I said Kane did come hard on there though.
Oh, you saw it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how I missed that. I didn't see that. Or I forgot about it.
Kane came with it, man. He was working out.
I love Big Daddy Kane though.
There was a lot of love there. It was way different than 666 and Bone.
Yeah, that one I saw.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I want to say this about KRS-One and Big Daddy Kane is that Big Daddy Kane in interviews, he says that he was in the studio when KRS made Poetry. He was in there. And he also helped KRS-One help Big Daddy Kane move during the beef with MC Shan. So they were friends, even though they were part of different crews, they were friends. So that's why he never went at Big Daddy Kane probably back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
But for my number 6, which speaking of Chance, gonna go to number 6 is South Bronx. This is the song that put BDP on the map because of a misunderstanding of what MC Shan said when he said it all started way back when. And, they took it like, well, no, it started in the Bronx. We need to check MC Shan. So anyways, that misunderstanding is helped BDP get on the map. So I really like that. And of course, I love the hook. And to me, for the time and for how they played it, because they went to DJ Red Alert to play it. Well, they went to Magic Mike first, and Magic Mike was like, we're not gonna play that because he was like helping Juice Crew. They went to DJ Red Alert, and then he put it on, and they went crazy in the club. They had to play it like 3 times in the club. And seeing the clip online, if you look at the BDP versus Juice Crew, it shows the clip of them like going crazy when the song, even when they played other songs, they were saying South Bronx, South Bronx over the other songs. So it was chaotic and crazy. So yeah, that's my number 6, South Bronx.
And with maybe it was Roxanne or UTFO and Roxanne's Revenge. Maybe it was the first beef battle records I heard. But if it wasn't that, it was Juice Crew and BDP. It was the first time I was like, oh, they don't like each other and they're making songs talking shit about each other. That's kind of cool. Even though diss tracks were way more subtle back then, but it's a
There's,
classic
there's,
song.
there is one thing I wonder though, because in that verses, KRS-One still came at Roxanne Shante. And I don't know if they ever made up or if that's just because it was in the song, but like I don't know. Sometimes beefs last forever, like Jordan and from the Pistons,
Oh, Isaiah Thomas.
Isaiah Thomas, right?
Yeah.
They're still
That's
beefing.
why Isaiah wasn't on the Dream Team, they say.
Yeah, exactly. But just to think of beef is going to go on for 50 years, not 50 years, but like 35 years or something.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they're cool, but in that verses, it made me feel like they're still not cool. But anyways, I just had to add that.
Yeah. All right, we are still on 6. Raven.
I went to 89 with You Must Learn. I love that shit. Another dope message. He's always chasing that knowledge. It's just a dope vibe. Always chasing the truth and shit. I don't know. It's just I love that song.
Ben, number 6.
Oh, sorry, MC Sham. I'm going South Bronx with Roderick. Criminal Minded. Yeah, great. I look at it more of a diss track than you do, Chris, but I like the aggressiveness of it. Just kind of in your face, the yelling and stuff. So, yep, that had to be my number 6.
Oh, South Bronx getting a lot of love, which I figured it would. Now I feel bad I had it all the way at 10. So we are at the halfway point, and I'm going back to 89's Ghetto Music Blueprint Hip Hop. I'm going with Bo, Bo, Bo. I can't believe you had it. That's so dope. It's number 5 on my list. Just great storytelling. If my first favorite things about hip hop was figuring out how they're rhyming things, the second was a story. And this is a story you could just picture perfectly. It's about police brutality, about a racist cop and his encounter with them. And, we talked about the fucking Adam's apple line with the bottle of Snapple, which always got me. And that's almost straight reggae beat. It really is. If you take Krs-One out of it, it could just be a straight reggae beat. But he rides it perfectly. And then he talks about having his shotgun and how he's walking down the street and he has a shootout with the cops, but hides out in a bookstore and gets away. And when I listened to it in 2025, I was like, he was being kind of fucking gangster. I mean, that's like some Scarface shit right there. But at the time, I never looked at it as being that. It's just a cool story. So, Bo, Bo, Bo. People haven't checked it. It wasn't a single. It wasn't one that people really talked about. But it just won a cool story. Check out that record off of Ghetto Music. So that is my number 5. What about you, Roderick?
My number 5, Chris, is Ben mentioned it earlier. Jack of Spades.
Jack.
And Ben, just to say, I didn't want to interrupt you, but there is a video, and it's from the soundtrack of "I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker." So with the Wayans brothers. So back in the 90s, it was like come out with a movie, you need a hip hop song on it. So that was the way it went. But I liked everything about it. I like the beat. And in the beginning of that video, because I'm back to the videos again, Wayans turns to somebody and says, "Hey, every hero needs a theme music." And then the beat drops, and then boom, Jack of Spades. So he's actually in the video with BDP. So it's kind of cool. You don't see that. You don't see a movie and rappers rappers together in a movie, like in the video. So I like the beat, the scratching, a lot of good scratching on that. So I really like the way they scratched it up. But that is my number 5, sir.
And videos, I'm glad you're bringing up videos, because that was a really, like when MTV Raps dropped originally with Fab Five Freddy. I mean, I taped every episode almost on VHS tape. I had stacks of tapes of MTV Raps. It's cool to hear as I got older, other people were taping MTV Raps and going back and watching them. I still got some of those tapes. I don't have a working VCR anymore, but I still keep those tapes.
You got Paramount Network?
I have Paramount, yeah.
If you they have all the old MTV Raps.
I didn't know that. I rarely watch Paramount Plus. I just have it.
You got to scroll to find it, but they have I don't know if it's all the seasons, but there's 5 or 6 seasons.
Raven, number 5.
Number 5, I went back to Entertainment with Black Man in Effect. It's a hard ass beat, another dope ass song about learning Black history and just knowing where you come from and where you're going. Just Chris with that perfect flow in that song too.
Ben, number 5.
So you're a philosopher? Well, I think very deeply.
Yes.
My philosophy, by all means necessary.
Love it.
Classic, straight up classic.
And after that came out, you know how many years Kid Chris walked around and said, "How many MCs must get dissed before you realize you don't fuck with Chris?" I said that shit nonstop. I'm sure everyone got sick of it. I thought that was so cool. That's such a cool line, and it's my name. That's so dope.
So you used to say that? You used to say that back in the day?
Oh shit, all the time. Yeah.
How did people react? How did people react? Like,
I guess it was depending who it was. But I don't remember. I know I said it all the time, and people got sick of it. It was cool to me, right? Number 4, we're talking about By All Means Necessary. I'm gonna go there for the very first time. 88's By All Means Necessary, and I actually think if I had to pick one BDP album, this might be my favorite one. It's tough. It's tough, but I really like By All Means Necessary, and I'm not gonna. I don't care how you look at me, Raven. I'm still picking By All Means Necessary, and I'm going with the song still number 1. I mean, we're getting to the good ones now, the iconic ones. In the beginning, all the people that are down with us, that's been redone so many times by other artists. It's so classic. The beat and how it fades and drops, and Krs-One rips it. You brought up before, Roderick. It's in my notes when he says, "No one is from the old school because rap as a whole is not even 20 years old." And then the 50 years, then you can start that. And this is 1988. It's ill to look at it from all these years later. It's like Chris was on. He knew it all those years before. He was right on trend. So, still number 1 is my number 4. What is yours, Roderick?
my number 4 is the second response to MC Shan's "Kill That Noise," and that is "The Bridge Is Over." This was like the height of hip hop. When I used to go to New York, I used to live in Montreal, Canada. That's where I'm from. Shout out to Laval. Bra. But when we used to go to New York, on WBLS was one of the stations, KISS, that song was played a lot. Like, I heard it in cars, I heard it on the radio, and it was like the was it came out what in 87?
87, yeah.
87, yeah. It was like Hit 'Em Up, like Tupac, but it was like
Right.
a KRS where he's saying names.
Oh yeah.
He's coming at names, and he's saying, at the time I was a kid, so it wasn't, but it was just like cool to me. But like when you think about it, man, he was putting the nail in the coffin. Like, South Bronx was already, then he's just like, you know what, let me just close this coffin. So that was the end of MC Shan. So that was a big deal. What else about the song that I like? It was last of Scott LaRock's album.
Right.
He died in 87 over gun violence. And yeah, that's it. So, bo, 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 bo. That was the first time with the Jamaican, bo, bo. That's gunshots. That's what they do with DJs. Liquid mean rewind, bo, bo. Anyways, that was the first time I kind of really heard that. So that a Jamaican influence, like, you were saying, Ben, that bop, bop, that's all Jamaican stuff. So that was a big part of that song also. But yeah, that is my number 4 is "The Bridge Is Over."
All right, Raven, what's your number 4?
So yeah, number 4. These last 4 are like definitely songs that I consider like important for like music or the culture or just whatever. It's just but like easily one of the most quotable openings, "Criminal Minded." Yeah, anybody's gonna respond to that with "You've Been Blinded." You know what I mean? Everybody knows what you're saying when you say that. So yeah, "Criminal Minded" had to make my top 4. It's just, if you had a flow like Chris had in 87, the way he wrote beats, there wasn't a lot of people that kind of had that shine like he had on those beats. And "Criminal Minded" is just a prime example of that.
Criminal Minded, the album has so many iconic songs on, but it's so important. It's one of the, you have important albums to hip hop like Public Enemy, Nation of Millions, and Criminal Minded is in that same bucket of really important. The first Run DMC album. We're still on 4, Ben.
Yeah, Bridge is Over. What I dig about it is how South Bronx and Roderick kind of mentioned this, or like how that was aggressive, but then the Bridge is Over is kind of mellow, like last, like da
Mhm.
da 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 da, like he knew he won. Da, 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 da,
Right.
da, 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 da. So
Yeah, I never looked at
yeah,
it that way, but you're right. It is a
yeah.
lot more lighthearted,
Like
but
you know, South Bronx, you know, like motherfucker, I'm telling you, and then guess what? We won. Da, 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 da.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
I'm
yep.
never gonna listen to that song the same anymore. All right, that brings us to the top three. And I'm going back to Criminal Minded. You just talked about it, Raven. The title track, like you said, Criminal Minded, you've been blinded. Look for style like this, you can't find it. Classic. And from the little singing in the beginning to that hard beat, just hitting in the background, that Scott LaRock, simple, but just hard hitting beats. And so many classic lines. If you asked me on the spot to say a line by BDP, I probably would recite this first. Like, say a BDP line, and this is probably what I'm doing. And he's just so ahead of his time. So many lines by him, like I said before, were used by others after. It's just full of iconic raps and lines and samples and all that, all the above. So the title track from Criminal Minded is my number three. What about you, Roderick?
My number three, love's gonna get you. Love's gonna get you. Love's gonna get you. Listen, man, this song right here is the best storytelling song by BDP, by any, like,
Yeah.
this is one of my best storytelling songs ever.
Yep.
I mean, back to the video, that always made an impact on me. The video was like black background, shadows, you know what I mean? Real simple for you to focus on the story. KRS and BDP, they made it. Well, KRS put himself as the protagonist. Like he made himself like it's his story, you know. So that was a good approach on that song. And the Love's Gonna Get You. I don't know if you've seen the video, but I didn't realize this till I saw it recently. But Heather B is in it.
Oh,
Heather B and
like the Heather B. She had to be pretty young. Oh no, I guess that's
no,
90.
that's 90.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because she blew up, you know, not too
A
far
little
after
after
that.
that, yeah.
So her and Miss Melody are on the hook of Love's Gonna Get You. So the story just starts off and it just keeps climbing. It just keeps climbing. The Love's Gonna Get You comes in 3 times. Once in the beginning, middle, and at the end. It ends with the Love's Gonna Get You chorus. But on the last verse, when it keeps going up, and then you talk about the shooting and all that. Before he starts that last verse, there's a sample of, I don't know if it's Malcolm X or who it is, but it goes, "Let us move on." That, like, I'm always waiting for that part because I'm already going up this way, and then you just hear "Let us move on." Like it just keeps going up, and then eventually, what the ending is. But that storytelling, that video is still to this day ingrained in my mind. Certain images and certain things I've seen remain in my head. So for my number three, it's Love's Gonna Get You.
If I'm remembering it right, and I didn't rewatch the video, it's like the events are playing out behind him. That's
Yes.
how I picture that video. Yeah.
Yes.
Because I
His
know
mom, she's going in
right.
the refrigerator. So like there's actually a refrigerator behind him with his mom going in it.
Mhm.
And it's just like all these things when he's driving, he's like basically sitting in like some chairs with his brother. So all these things, and
They're
it's black, and
reenacting.
then the colors really pop. And it's kind of like the lights from the top is like just zooming in on different things that he's saying. So definitely nice.
I put that up there with like Slick Rick's children's story as far as storytelling. Ice-T 6 in the Morning. I mean, any of those that are so vividly painted. Great, great
I'm
pick.
not even faking, man. I got goosebumps, bro. You can't fake
You can't
goosebumps.
fake Goosebumps.
Can't,
Huh?
can't fake that, man.
Such a great song. Raven, what do you have at three?
By all means necessary, I'm still number one. Um, Man, what a smooth ass beat. It's an instantly recognizable beat that's been sampled all over the place. KRS-One being one of the best, or the best at the time. That flow was just butter on that beat.
Number three for you, Ben.
Well, I think everybody's covered it, but by all means necessary, I'm still number one.
Yeah.
I got a question that since say it seems like everyone has that on their list. and you have it on your list.
Yep.
What is it about you guys really like that beat? Is that something that kind of that got you guys into it?
It pulls me in
I
every
dig
time.
that beat, like the beginning of like if it is it the it's like horns or something. It's like da da da, and then it's then the boom boom, then the beat kicks in. That shit's dope to me. So
Yeah, it's just classic. And how just even the echoing is still number one, 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 and then boom,
yeah,
just
In
hits
the
again.
yeah.
Whew, so damn good. All right, top two. And I'm going right back to By All Means Necessary. And, I didn't talk about the album cover. He's recreating a famous picture of Malcolm X, looking out the window with a gun. And I'm going with the song My Philosophy. I kept changing 1 and 2. My Philosophy would be there, then what ended up being number 1, and they battled each other. They're pretty much even to me, and I just finally settled with, what I settled with. But like someone talked about before, just you're a philosopher? Yes. Chicka, chicka, yes. I mean, that gets me, and the beat hasn't hit, he hasn't rapped yet, and it gets me excited. And then it's just like, in 4 seconds, the teacher will begin to speak. And as a kid, I would go like 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, and count along like that in my head. And it's like, shit, it really was 4 seconds. I don't know why I felt I needed to fact check him or, call him out if it was 3.5 seconds. But he just spends 5 minutes schooling you. Just schooling you. So dope. And the beat drops at the perfect time. Another album or a song with classic lines in it. And like I said before, how many MCs must get this before they realize? So that was my number 2. I don't even need to finish it. I'm that cold. My Philosophy. Roderick, what's your number 2?
I feel like, Chris, you should have finished that sentence, man. We need to hear it, record it. You know what I mean? You've said it your whole life, man. But
You're right. I should
didn't hear.
sample
I
it.
didn't live in where you live, so I
Right,
never got to
right.
hear you say it.
Yeah, you probably would have got sick of it. I think I said it a whole fucking lot. It was really cool to 1988, Chris. What's your number 2?
Okay, so we're down to number 2. These last 2 were exciting I'm excited to hear what everybody's number 2 is. I mean, last 2, but mine is. Can I build up to what it is? Or
Absolutely.
do I just say it?
No.
Oh man, okay.
However you want to deliver.
This song right here was a big deal to me because it was the We Are the World of rap. You guys know what? Don't say it yet. Do you guys know what song this is?
Absolutely.
What about you, Ben? You know what song I'm going to say? Don't say it.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, Raven's like, yeah, don't worry about it. I know it. Yo, I'm going to say it. Self-destruction. We're headed for self-destruction.
That video I can picture. Yeah.
Was the We Are Michael Jackson, all these people, like we had all the top people in rap on this song on the East Coast. You know what I mean?
Right.
And these are the people I was watching, and to see them all together and singing this song together, we're all on the same team. We're not battling right now. We're coming together for a bigger cause. Scott LaRock got killed by, senseless gun violence. From what I read, PDP and Public Enemy had a concert where someone died at the concert. So that was another reason they came up with this Stop the Violence song, to bring everybody together and say, you know what, let's just get together and say, hey, look, this is music, man. We shouldn't be killing each other. So that was my number 2. Gotta say this. This is important for me to say. Rest in peace to Krs-One's ex-wife, Miss Melody. She had a major part in this song. Her delivery, her vocals, her presence, being a woman, all that was very big in this song. And for her to be and have her own verse and her own part in that song was really big. And I want to say something since we're talking about Miss Melody, Ben, in the song Jack of Spades, because that was on your list. When she goes, Krs-One says something, she says, nah, man, I ain't buying it. Her voice just carries. So for me, Self-Destruction with Miss Melody, because, rest in peace, she died 2012. And basically bringing everybody together. And it was a great song for like the We Are, I call it the We Are the World.
That's perfect.
Hip-hop.
Yeah. And then the West Coast did one all in the same gang in that same era. Raven, I think we're going to get through this without bringing up the problematic song, because I think you had it the first time. It must have got booted, huh? If you have it at 2 or 1, that's kind of shitty. I might judge you a little bit.
No, no. Like I said, the my top four were songs that I figured were important. South Bronx was my number two because it's iconic as fuck. I don't even need to say anything else. It's been talked about. Yet another example of why Criminal Minded is one of the GOAT albums.
Ben, what's your number two?
I'm going to Sex and Violence with Duck Down. KRS just came in hard. Like it was kind of a different vibe for him. I just felt he was a lot harder on that shit in the video, and that's probably my least favorite album, but that I fucking love that song.
Do you guys remember the single cover? It's like him punching and it's like a pow, like the Batman things. You know, like the old Batman where it go kapow, boom.
Yeah.
It's Krs-One like punching down, and I think it says pow. I always think
I
of
don't
that
remember
one.
if I saw the 12-inch cover or not.
Kind of like what I said before, is really the bridge, I think, between BDP Chris and solo Chris. Because a lot of Sex and Violence sounds like what would evolve into Return of the Boom Bap. And that was an honorable mention. It didn't make my list, but definitely is an honorable mention. Everything has led us to this number one. And my number one was brought up by one other person. It's 1990s edutainment. And the song is Love's Gonna Get You. The storytelling is so amazing. The beat is perfect. The scratching great. The hook works. It's just like I said before, it's up there with Children's Story by Slick Rick. I was just there with him whenever when I was listening to this. Yeah, well, otherwise we kind of talked about it. You know, he shouldn't have messed with Rob and the drug gang, and you know, I always like bought myself a Uzi and my brother a 9. And those are just lines that always stuck out to me at the time. And it just was like, but is telling this gangster tale, right? But he's really schooling you. He's teaching you about, you know, the trappings of wanting material items. It's a total teaching lesson, but he paints it as like a gangster tale. And I think half the time people are listening to it, not even realizing that they're getting a message out of it. They just think it's a cool story. So Love's Gonna Get You. It gets me almost every time. Number one. Nothing else I'm gonna say about it. Roderick, what's your number one?
I'm gonna piggyback off of what you said with that song. There's two things. One is when he talks about in the beginning the beans and, you know, all they have is beans and rice on the shelf, and then when he starts making money, and this is what I like. He's like, now we have steak with the beans and rice.
Yep.
Yeah, we're making money now, baby. We got steak. You know, so I like that in there. And also, you know, the two big commercials against drugs back in the day was Just Say No. Just Say No. That was that campaign. And This Is Your Brain on Drugs. So, you know, for him to bring that up in the song, it kind of captures the moment of what we're talking about, you know, the time period. So I love that song. So my number one has been mentioned already by one person. I correct myself. I stand corrected by two people. My number one, and it's my number one in life. It's not even just this list. This is not number one. Like it's one of my top ones ever. So You're a Philosopher?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Holy moly. This song right here, man, like when you're growing up, what year did that come out? 88, right? 88. Fresh for 88, you suckers. Yeah, 88. Yep. 88, I was like 15, right? And you guys know what troop jackets are? Troop?
Oh, yeah.
All right, listen.
They're a big deal.
The way KRS looks in this video is what I see forever in my mind. Like those jackets, those leather jackets. I don't think I've owned Jordans before. Nothing against Jordan, whatever. But the Jordans, like if I had to buy Jordans, the ones they have in this video, when they zoom in and they just have, first of all, the video is black and white, all black and white. And then they zoom in on the shoes and it's just Chris with his Jordans. I guess those are 88s. Those every time I see those till this day on someone's foot, I get excited. Okay. I think of that video, the trench coats, the shoes, the black and white, the audience. You know, I just like the whole video, the beat, the song. I could, even though my name is not Chris, I was saying the same thing Chris was saying.
Right.
You know what I mean? So So anyways, that was a big song for me. I love everything about it. The video, the song, the beat, the message. He's coming at people. He's saying whatever. I love it. But yeah, so that is my, I feel like I'm forgetting something, but that's my number one, is My Philosophy.
You brought up the Fresh for 88. That's another iconic line that people would use, and it was hard. That's why my philosophy, Love's Gonna Get You, we're fighting for 1 and 2. They're so close to me. So close to me. Raven, what's number one?
So I know you were scared I was going to bring up a certain song.
Yeah.
But I'm actually kind of blown away because I'm something of a philosopher myself. And
Yes.
My Philosophy is one of my favorite songs of all time. So it is definitely my favorite song from BDP. That when the sax comes in on that beat, fuck every other song on that album.
Yo, talk that shit, Raven.
And he goes on for like over 5 minutes. But you don't
it's
get
so
sick
fucking
of it.
good. It's a pure lesson in hip hop with a smooth fucking beat.
Ben, what's your number one?
Well, I'm going to Edutainment with Love's Gonna Get You.
My man.
I feel they could have made a full length movie out of that, as using that as the script.
You could, absolutely, yeah.
I love those beats with that deep bass like that, and then the video. Just you guys have all talked about it. Not much more to say. Just that's the gem from BDP in my opinion.
We made it to the end of the list. Honorable mention, if you're listening for the first time, if a song didn't make anybody's list, but I thought it needs some love, I just quick shout it out. This almost made my list. From the Menace to Society soundtrack, the P is Free remix. He takes the original P is Free and tells a new story over it. And that's really, really dope song from a really dope soundtrack, which I know we talked about. Illegal Business from All Means Necessary. 7 DJs from Edutainment. Rough from Sex and Violence. Like a Throttle from Sex and Violence. And I'll bring it up because I was teasing it. Not that it's an honorable mention, but on Sex and Violence, there's a song called 13 and Good, which ages horribly.
Yeah, I did remove that from my original list. I did.
He's having sex with a 13-year-old and saying it was good. And then her dad comes and wants to rape Karen. And what's even iller,
and shit.
There was a video, and like the events are playing out in the video. It's like, it's so problematic. It blows my mind.
It got made.
It's even at the time, it's crazy it got made. I mean, it's so fucking bad. It's not funny, but it's funny that it even saw the light of day. So, are we missing anything, BDP?
I wouldn't say this is an honorable mention, but I'd like to. Sublime has a song called Krs-One.
I do know
that.
It's
like a tribute to him.
Yeah, and I know.
And I really thought it was cool. Yeah, and then their DJ scratching the piss out of it over those acoustics. I just think it's a really good sound, and it's cool that they made a whole song like to give him props. So it's not an honorable mention, but I thought that was pretty cool.
I gotta say this, man, that this was exciting for me, man. I've never talked about this kind of stuff with anybody I never ever talked about this. So talking about the beats, and I'm still number one, and us discussing the same type of things and albums and stories. This has made me very happy, and I'm very happy to be a part of this. So thank you, gentlemen.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. So glad to have you on board. And next week we're doing Rockham. You'll be on there for that. Well, season 5 is just starting. We got a lot of roundtables coming up. So, all right, everyone, have a good night.
Have a great one, guys.
Peace.
Still a B-boy, from the old to the new, still a B-boy. Too bold for the school, still a B-boy. East Coast to the West, B-boys worldwide, we supposed to be blessed. Still a B-boy, from the old to the new, still a B-boy. Too bold for the school, still a B-boy. East Coast to the West, B-boys worldwide,